Good morning everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to do a review of the Makeup Revolution Pro HD Amplified 35 palette. Now I got this for Christmas from my stepdaughter and I'm very pleased with it too. It's got a lovely selection of shades. Now Makeup Revolution is a high street brand in the UK. And I think when they were first introduced, a lot of people kind of walked past them and didn't think much of them because they were very affordable. And there is this kind of, I think, assumption that if something's really affordable, then it can't be very good. But I think you probably know from a lot of YouTube reviews that have happened over the last few years that Makeup Revolution are really coming into their own. They just brought out a really good concealer, which is a very good alternative. I bought a concealer which I gave away only because it was the wrong colour. And the person that I gave it to actually loves it. So I'm really happy with that. But it is a very, very affordable concealer and really good quality. Definitely on a par. I think a lot of reviewers have said it's on a par with Tarte Shape Tape, and I would agree with that. So I'm really excited to try this palette. I have tried it already because I got it at Christmas, and I would liken these palettes. So they do a variety, Makeup Revolution do a variety of different types of palettes, and they do some that look very like the Too Faced palettes. They look like the chocolate palettes. But these ones, these particular ones, which have got this number of shades, are very like the Morphe ones. And I do have a Morphe palette. But the Morphe palette I have is all very dark browns. So I'm going to show you this palette. Let me just get something to cover up the mirror again. And sort myself out. So here we have the palette, okay? So what I like about this is that with some of the palettes, you kind of get, everything sort of looks like the same. So with the brownie palettes, like the Morphe one I've got, and I know Revolution do them as well, they're all different shades of brown. And you kind of think, well, how many shades of brown do I need? What I like about this is it's got some pinks and some purples and other shades sort of mixed in that will and peaches as well, that will complement the look. Very good everyday palette, but also you can see from shades like this that you can actually amp it up for the evening. Really good as well if you want to try out colours. You know, even for those of you, and I know that there's a few of you that follow me that like to invest in kind of Pat McGrath and Natasha Denona and really high-end palettes, but I think this is a really good palette to actually test out what colours suit me. They're really good quality. What more can I say? Yeah, so I think where the difference is if you're somebody that likes the kind of aesthetics of a palette, the kind of luxurious feel, the packaging, you're not going to get that with Revolution, and I've said that before when I've reviewed them. And if you remember, if you look back, I did a comparison of the Pillow Talk look using Makeup Revolution products, and I actually managed to fool a lot of people that Makeup Revolution was the real deal. So that's the kind of quality we're talking about. I'm going to start off, I'm just going to get my MAC primer in. Today I'm really flummoxed for words. So soft ochre, that's what I was trying to say. So I'm going to get soft ochre just to give myself a nice base. Now you will see that I've already put on my base this morning because I had to pop out. So I put on, and my eyes have been watering, as you can see also. So I put on Flawless Filter in shade 5 because I used a zinc oxide sunscreen, which makes me go very pale. So to counteract that, I put shade 5 of Flawless Filter, and then I mixed Magic Foundation in 6.75 with my Huda Beauty Foundation in Butter Pecan, because I did like the Magic Foundation the other day, but I felt a little bit dissatisfied with the coverage. So I know that Huda has got a higher coverage, so I mixed the two together and I'm happy with the result. I then used Charlotte's Genius Magic Powder as a setting powder, and I used her Magic Away Concealer in shade 6. And then I just popped some MAC lipstick on, and this one is called Plumful, which is coming off because I've just eaten some lunch, not meant to be long lasting. So I'm going to take all that off in a minute and let's get going with this look. Okay, I meant to tell you I am now using a tripod so that I'm a bit more straight on. Let me know whether you like that or you preferred last week's videos. I'm sitting on a cushion so that I am not looking like that at you all either. So I had to get that. So first of all, so I'm going to go in with MAC Soft Ochre. And I'm just going to put that all over my lids. And this will provide a really good base for the eyeshadow. Okay, now on to the eye makeup. The thing that I got from my stepdaughter as this Real Techniques eyeshadow brush kit, which, as you know, you've probably seen, I've been using non-stop since Christmas. Really good selection. The only one I haven't used yet is this one, which I probably should do. It's for combing through your eyelashes if you get clumps in your mascara. But the other ones I've used a lot. So you get a really good set. So you get an eyeliner brush. You get, I'll put the details below. You get, I can never find the names of these easily, medium shadow brush. You get a shading brush, which is really good for kind of patting on if you want a little bit more intensity to your shadow. Then you've got what's this called, a deluxe crease brush, which is really good for blending in. Like if I just blended that in, I'd blended it in with my finger, but cream eyeshadows, but also just really good for getting a base of colour on. And you have a essential crease brush, which is really good at getting into the crease when you're doing the socket colour and really good at blending. So first of all, I'm going to take this deluxe crease brush. I'm not going to keep showing you the things. I'm going to do what I did last time. So you will see it just before I apply, because this is quite a large palette, and to keep holding it up just gets a bit cumbersome. So I'll interleave that. And I'm going to go in first of all with a quite a neutral shade to just cover that MAC Soft Ochre. So you won't really see too much at the moment, because that's just going to set my set my soft ochre, and it's sort of almost skin colour. And that's the other thing, that the top line, there are some nice neutral matte shades that should match any complexion. So if you're one of those people that doesn't really want to get a white base, but you want to kind of match your eyes, the baseline of your eyes, you will find a shade here, which you could also double up as kind of setting under your eyes, because they are kind of powder shades, kind of face shades. Do you know what I mean? As in, if you were to get a face powder shade. Okay. So what to do now? I've got pink on today, and I want to use a bit of pink and I want to incorporate that with some browns. And this is the ideal palette to do that. So what I'm going to do is I am going to start by using a transition shade. And I'm going to go in with something that is quite a neutral pink that kind of almost matches my jumper that I'm wearing today. And I'll put that on first. So I'll put the colour here. Okay, so I'm going to start blending this into my transition. And what's great about these palettes is that you can really build up a transition. You can kind of put 4 or 5 shades if you want to have a good old play with colours. So you see, I've got a real subtle pink coming in now. And now I'm going to actually build up by putting a brighter pink with the same brush, which is the Essential Crease brush. Just underneath. So building up the intensity of that pink. Okay, so now that I've laid down some pink, I'm going to start building up the intensity. And to do that, I'm going to lay down some darker brown that will start to blend in. But I don't want it to suddenly look brown. So I'm going to now take a smaller brush, which is this one, which is called a shading brush. And in there, I'm going to take a sort of neutrally brown shade. Just trying to work out whether to use a neutral one or a warmer one. No, I'm going to use a warmer one, I think. So I'm going to go in with this one. Okay, so I'm just going to start tucking that in the corner. And just a little bit along like that. And then with the other brush that I've put the pink on with, blend it out. Okay, so can you see how I'm building that up now, that intensity? And then I'm going to go in with a shimmer shade. Now, I want to have a bit of gold and a bit of pink. It almost looks like the Pillow Talk look as I'm using this right now. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put some gold over the eyelid with my finger, like so. Now, these shadows, they're very good pigment, but they are a little dry. So you may find, as I am doing, that you may want to wet the shadows to put on your lid to get that intensity, because they are a little dry. But they do blend quite well, and they are lovely, beautiful colours. So let's do the other one. Because I'd like a little bit more of the gold. I'm greedy. I'm just going to get some spray and spray the brush and see how that applies when I wet the brush. Which, by the way, you can do with most eyeshadows. Okay, any eyeshadow. I know some of them say can be used wet or dry. You can do them with most eyeshadows, okay? So let me just get the spray. Okay, because I've tried wetting my finger and I just don't like it, I'm going to apply it with this shading brush because that is good for packing on colour. And so I'm just going to take some of this gold and I'm going to then wet the brush with my Cocoa Body Shop mist. And let's see how that applies now. Yeah, that's what I was that was the kind of payoff that I was hoping for. But did I clean the brush well enough? We have another go and that will cover it up. That was just because I didn't clean the brush well enough before I went in with that. And I just used it on that darker brown. No worries, easily corrected. Now I'm not taking it, as you can see, right to the corner because I have other plans. With so many shadows to choose from, why would I want to cover the entire lid? So I'm just doing the same with the other lid. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to that pink because I want to give this a kind of pinky undertone to it. And I actually might go back to this one. Which one shall I go to? I'm just deciding. I think I'll go to the brighter pink, and with this damp brush I'm just going to pack some of that on the corner and a little bit over the gold so that it gives it a little bit of a pink hue. Sort of a rose gold hue, can you see? Like so. On the other side. Okay. That side looks a bit golder than the other. Yep, I like that. Now, I'm going to build up some intensity in my socket, and you've got plenty of options here. So I think I'm going to build up a little bit of warmth by using this shade. Okay, so let's go into this shade. And I'm putting this on with the same brush because I want to build up the intensity in the crease. Okay, we will be doing some blending out in a minute, but I am going to take that, I think, a little bit further up, like so. Because when I shut my eyes, it's going to disappear. So I'm using a fluffy brush now to just take that up a little bit higher and also to blend it in a bit. Okay, and then back in the sides, I'm going to go for something really, really dark. I'm not going to go for the black, but I'm going to go for the darkest warm brown in the palette, which is here. Okay, now I'm going to really pack this in now, just to make sure that I have further defined the lid. You see, and then I'll do that the other side. Obviously I have to blend it, and this is a kind of palette that you can get lost in for, you know, if you've got loads of time to spare and you really want to get artistic and play with colour. You can kind of lose yourself in it because there's so many colours that you can work with. And now I'm just blending it a bit more at the top, but at the sides I'm doing smaller circles because I want to keep that intensity. Okay. So wider circles at the top and then smaller circles at the side, just to make sure that I can keep some of that intensity. The danger when you've got very dry shadows is that you can blend them away to nothing, which is good when you are working up here. But when you want to intensify your colour here, if you do too much blending on a dry shadow, you're just going to move it too far away and it's going to disperse into nothing. Okay, I'm happy with that now. And so I'm then going to take a smaller liner brush. No, that's too small. I just want a smudgy brush. I'll go back with this brush here, which is the shading brush. And I'm just going to pop some of the other brown that I used, third in from the bottom left, underneath my eyes, like so. And then I'm going to take the peachy pink that I used at the beginning, the sort of neutral pink, and I'm going to take some of that on the same brush and blend that out at the bottom, and taking that all the way in on the other side. Don't forget to join up the corners, and of course we'll do clean up. Now, what often happens with a lot of eyeshadows is you get to the end and the pinks that you started out with have disappeared during your building up. So I'm just going to take a mixture of the two pinks and I'm just going to pop them back on at the top so that we make sure we don't lose them. You often see Pixie Woo doing that when she's doing makeup. It's like, I've lost that bit, I want to keep it. Let's go in with a bit more at the end. And you've got plenty of shadows here that you can highlight under your brow with. So I'm going to take the one that's just under that gold here. And I'm going to use that just under the brow, which is a perfect shade for doing that. Now I can use that one. I'm going to actually use the next shimmery one down. So second row down, second in from the left here. I'm going to put some of that on my finger, just pop some of that in the center, like so. Very subtle, but it's just going to give you a bit more of a highlight in the middle of the lids. Okay, and then I will use my little pinky to put some of that in the corner there. Now I'm going to take the eyeliner brush and I'm going to wet it, because these shadows are really good when you wet them as well. And I'm going to take, I could take the black, but I'm going to take a very dark, cool brown. So fourth one in, bottom row, fourth one in from the left. And I'm going to use this liner brush here and I'm going to wet it. So I'll wet the liner brush with the spray, and then I'm going to use that to line my upper eyeline. Now I think I've wet that too much, so let me just go back in with a bit of shadow. That's better. And I don't want a thick line, I just want to get it right down on that lid just to define my eyes. When you've got hooded lids, generally speaking, unless you want to make a feature out of your eyeliner, generally keep it as far down as possible so that it doesn't, you've only got a little bit of visible lid. And what you don't want to do is make it so thick that you can no longer see that gold on your lid. So I'm really tucking it in. This is such a good brush as well for doing this. Okay, and then if I just angle it the other way, I can just do myself a very minuscule kind of flick. All right, and just again join that up. Now I'd normally say to you, wet it again before you go in and join it up at the bottom, but my eye's been watering, so I knew that that was quite wet already, and therefore I didn't need to. Okay, so that's the eyeshadow look done. I'm just going to go back in with a blending brush, this fluffy blending brush which is called the shadow brush, and I'm just going to do a quick blend all the way over to make sure there are no harsh lines left. And don't worry, if you blend it out to there, we're going to do the cleanup at the end. Okay, so next up I'm going to put my mascara on, and I think I'll do another drop shadow, and I will be right back after this click of my fingers. Okay, I'm back. I've done my brows, I've done my mascara, and I've done my tight line underneath. For details of what I used, please have a look in my description bar. I always put a list of all the products that I used after every video, so please take a look there. And I think this particular look today really screams out pillow talk. So I am going to use the Pillow Talk blush here, and then I'm going to use the new Becca highlighter that I got, which I mentioned in my live, which is called Gold Lava. So I'm just swishing. I've already contoured, by the way, I did that earlier, just using Charlotte's Filmstar Bronze and Glow, and I'm using her blusher brush. Right, and then the pop Her pop shade is really almost like a highlighter in itself. So I kind of sweep it slightly above. And then I'm going to get the Becca gold highlighter. Okay, so this is the gold highlighter. It's called Gold Lava. And if you're watching this at the moment, you may be in luck if you want to get this half price. It is reduced to clear on John Lewis if you live in the UK. And I'm going to place that. And that's where my eyes watered. I'll have to tidy that up. Place that just above. Can you see how that just gives a lovely golden sheen? Now, if you're fairer and you don't want to go for a gold highlighter, what you will get away with doing this because you're putting it on top of pink, so it'll give it more of a rose gold hue. But you could use the rose gold palette and use the rose gold, or you could use a more pinky highlighter if you prefer. And if you want that more intense, we can spray it in a minute. I'll just put a little bit down there, down my face and over my lips. And then I'm going to put on the lip kit from Golden Goddess, which is stoned rose with a Ibiza on top. Is that right? Stoned rose and Ibiza, yes. I'm just going to get that and I'll be right back. Okay, so first of all, pillow talk. And then over the top, I'm going to put the lipstick, which is a kissing lipstick from Charlotte Tilbury called Stoned Rose, which I love. And you can buy these 3 items in a lip kit called the Golden Goddess Lip Kit because it's part of the Golden Goddess look. And then over the top, I'm going to use the lip luster in, it's called Ibiza Nights. And there you have the look, but I'm not finished there. Just a couple of finishing touches before I finish off. So penultimately, a little spray of the Body Shop Cocoa Calming Mist. Which you will see will just bring that highlighter to life. I need to just tidy up. Let me just tidy up these corners and I'll be right back. One more step. So just to remind you, tidying up the corners, just take your concealer, run it up in a line as though you're drawing a line from the bottom to your brow. And you will see that it just gives the eye a lift. And last but definitely not least, I'm going to dab a tiny bit of Flawless Filter, and that's shade 5. I put it back in the wrong box. 1 second. So Flawless Filter in shade 3. Just going to put a little bit here, 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 and here. Just to give me that little bit more of a glow. And then with a clean hand, just dab, dab, now you could put this on before your highlighter. That's why I'm putting it a bit lower down. I don't want to cover that highlighter. I perhaps should have done that. So let me just put another little, so that I haven't covered up the highlighter. And you'll find that the Flawless filter makes it pop. And there. You have it. I hope you've enjoyed today's look. Sorry, my teeth are terrible at the moment. One of my fillings is about to fall out, so I need to see the dentist next week. But anyway, I shall see you next week, and you'll probably see me after my haircut. So enjoy your weekend. If I can, I'll try and do a live tomorrow. But if not, have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye now.